Welcome to Open Hand Farm. Penny's not here right now, but she'll be back in just a second. Today, we're going to get into an outdoor project because you see, we have rabbits and we're going to build a little rabbit tractor. So, you ready? Let's get going. I've clamped a piece of wood, had to cut it down in order to get it clamped on there because this is not a super duper table saw, but you know. And then there's a stopper here. So each piece of wood is going to have this little corner cut out of it. I'm going to make 8 cuts total, one on each end of 4 pieces. So I put it up to there, and just so I don't have to stick my hands down there by the blade, I'm going to clamp it. We're going to cut the vertical part here. Then we'll have to set it up again so that we can cut the ones that are now horizontal. Now we flip it around. And does that look good? This doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, not cabinetry, but close. Okay, we need to get this cut done. So I'm using the same jig and putting it in there, but unfortunately the clamp was in the way. To put a clamp over everything, my clamp wasn't deep enough. So we're using a good old-fashioned C-clamp, and problem with it is I've got to undo it every time, make sure my jig is lined up, which I've got a little line drawn on there, and I've lined it up with the left side of the cut, so as long as I do that, it should be an acceptable cut. Yeah, this will potentially come down and, well, it won't go far enough in, but it would hit the bed. So we got to watch that. Not a big deal. It's better than doing it all by hand, I think. Ready to go. And on this one, I'm letting it spin all the way down before I unclamp it, because I really just don't like to stick my fingers anywhere close to that blade if I can avoid it. I turn it around, put the clamp back on. Let's see, righty-tighty, isn't it? I think we're good. Just go through the others and we are in business. All right, we've got 4 of these lovelies cut, but what in the world are they? Well, let's go outside and we'll see what they are good for. Okay, we brought our lovely chopped up stick out here with its 3 cousins and gonna show you what we're gonna do with it. Now, what I have right in front of us here is our, I think, 2-year-old rabbit tractor. You may be familiar with chicken tractors. We like chicken tractors. Don't have any right now, but we've used them in the past. Well, a rabbit tractor is the same basic idea. This one opens on the top, and you can see there is Miss Bunny. Oh, there she goes. She gets moved every day. She can eat the grass that's on the ground. You'll see, if you look closely, there is wire on the bottom because we don't want any foxes or possums or particularly aggressive squirrels attacking her. But she seems to like it. And we've got her little panic room in here so that she can get in here, and it's got a floor, a roof. It would be very hard for a predator to get to her. Where there, they might be able to reach through and mess with her.
So I want to point out, because a lot of people will say, well, what if there's something the rabbit shouldn't eat that you're growing? Well, you can see this creeping Charlie here. They're smart. They know what they shouldn't eat. So you can tell she's not eating the creeping Charlie. None of it. Even these nice high pieces over here. She only eats what she knows to eat.
And just to confirm what you were saying, she was here yesterday, and the creeping Charlie is there. And most of the grass is still in pretty good shape. She goes for stuff she likes first. Well, what a sensible rabbit. We're building basically a duplicate of this. And what we've just been cutting are these corner posts. They're 2x2s. These are 2x4s. And we notch the corner so it gives it a nice, strong corner. We used, when we built this thing, a lot of wood that we just already had. Like right here, you can see this is something from an old packing package. You know, it was a piece they put in there to hold things together, and the strap went in that channel. A couple of real skinny pieces, I don't know, they were just in the workshop, so I used them. So this time we're pretty much going with new stuff we bought, but the measurements are basically cut to convenience. Now, you'll see there are 3 rectangles of 2x2. Here's the one on the ground, the one right here, the top of the box, and then the door itself. That's all there's going to be to it. Then we put wire all the way around it, and on the bottom we put some metal on the top, and we'll be in business. I've already built the 3 rectangles. I used pocket screws because I use pocket screws anytime I get a chance, and you can see the holes going in there. To make the pocket screws, I used my Craig jig, which I love. See, these are 6 feet long, and then we've got 2 feet wide, so 24 inches minus 3 inches, they're 21-inch pieces. You can make it any size you want. I wanted to make it so that the wire would fit conveniently. Okay, so what we'll do from here, one of these will go in each corner, and we'll screw it here and through on the end. After we get all 4 of them in there, we'll put another rectangle on top, and that will effectively make the box.
I know it looks a little wonky, you guys. It's also not really on a level surface. Mark got all of the walls cut for inside the rabbit hutch for their little houses, and they are kind of frayed, so I am going to go ahead and sand them with my orbital sander and just smooth them up.
All right, because we have 2 male rabbits, we are building a duplex. We want to have a box, plywood place where they can get to in case something's trying to get to them, and it's a little more secure. So here's the floor for it. Here's the problem. We got these 2 guys, and we don't want to put them together because they may end up fighting each other. So what we're doing is building the box here in the middle. So we're going to have walls and here, and then there will be a wall running down between the 2 of them. A door here and a door over here. So each one will have access to a little sleeping area or whatever they want to do there. And then they'll have room for some grass over here. Not a huge area, but it'll be a lot better than where they are right now. So I'm gonna start putting some of these pieces in, and just using 1.5 inch brads to attach the plywood. All right, this is the side wall. I'm gonna brad it at the top and at the bottom. I'm putting some blocks in the corners here that'll hold the nails or screws for these boards that'll go right here. So I'll do that 3 more times and we'll be ready to put the ends on. We cut 2 of these doors, these walls, which will go right in here and over here. The doors are on alternate sides so that one bunny will have an entrance on one side, one bunny will have an entrance on the other side. We notched it for the 2x2s, and I think that's about it. I'm gonna stand it up in here, and I'm gonna put a clamp on there just to hold it good and tight. That there is good ventilation here on these corners. They don't match up perfectly. I didn't cut them wide enough to go all the way out. And actually, right now it's 90 degrees outside. The rabbits may very well appreciate a little ventilation.
So because I am persnickety, not that my husband would agree with that.
Grr!
I asked you to go ahead and fill those spots in in case it rained.
All right, we are approaching the finish of the wooden parts. We've got the partition here. Daddy 1 can come in this door. Daddy 2 can come in this door. And there is this lovely barrier between them to keep them from duking it out. We just put some pieces of wood in there to serve as guides.
Put a guide down here and then
one over here.
Down on the other side too. It's not just these holding them in place.
At this point, I think we're getting pretty close to putting wire on it. We're going to want to paint the outside of the box. And then we're going to put wire. Well, we'll show you. All right, we are getting close to the end. The third of our 4 rectangles is right here. It'll be the door that opens on the top. Hatch. The hood, the whatever. You can see that I made the rectangle and then I just put 3 kind of cross braces and with whatever I had, you know, nothing fancy there. It's just something so that if you push down, it won't cave in. I'm going to put the metal up here. And then shoot some roofing screws in. The kind of screw you use to attach the metal roofing it's just a screw. But then the thing that makes it different is it's got a little washer and then most important, a little rubber washer. So when you push it down real well, it squashes that washer down and makes it pretty much waterproof. One other thing to note, this is wonderful roofing, but it is sharp on the edges, so do be careful with it. I love that.
Here's the finished product. Got the house painted. We're only painting the outside. We're not going to worry about the inside.
All right, we've cut 80 3 inches, I think, of wires, a little more than we think we're going to need. We're going to go around this end, starting here, staple it with our handy dandy pneumatic stapler, and I think that's about it. Let's do it.
To cut the wire, we put something heavy on each end because it wants to keep rolling up. We measured from one end, it was laying flatter, but Mark had opened the door. We measured to where we needed it, and we just started clipping across. Now, it will leave these little pokey pieces. You can see I've cut some off here. So we'll clean that up before we keep going because we don't want to leave that all pokey.
We're stapling into the reinforcing corner one by one that's right in here. Because we've got an extra 1/2 inch of plywood here, we're going back to this. I'm just using a clamp. All right, we got to the first corner. We're gonna try to bend it real nice and tight. Then we're gonna put the clamps on because, you know, I like to use my clamps. All right.
Looks pretty good, honey.
Final. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go. Hitting a couple of the vertical pieces of wire right at the corner of each corner because I figured that's probably where it really needs to be held in there. And then I'm just going every third along the way. Why? I don't know. It just seems like a good number. Now we have, I put my last staple in here. There's 3 more verticals. We're going to cut that off. We just did a little bit extra because we didn't want to come up 2 inches short or 3 inches short. So we made it 3 inches long.
Now we'll staple the rest of the side. And we're going to do that every square or rectangle, whatever you want to call it. So here it is. Of course, we still have to put wire on the bottom. We decided to staple these end boards as well.
All right, we are putting some more of this 1 inch by 2 inch wire onto the bottom because we don't want critters tunneling in to get our cute little bunnies. It's a little bit wider wire than the box is wide. So we're making it flush on the bottom, and we'll staple it up here, and then we'll roll it up, and so it'll just roll up onto here.
Time to put the hinges on. We're going 18 inches in from each end. Now you might notice he has the actual hinge hanging over the edge of the box so that it will open and close all the way. We're pre-drilling where he made pin marks.
Okay, it probably would have been easier to have done the put the hinges on the lid first and then put them on. I didn't think of that. But we're too lazy to take them off. And
We're too close to being done.
Yeah, there's that. So I think we've got a plan here. And I make Penny doing the holding.
That's all right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna put one more in here and then I'll switch. Beautiful. The lid does stop here because it hits some of that wire that's puffed out a little bit more. I'm not crazy about that. I don't want it to get ripped off in the wind or something like that. So I'm just gonna, because it'll make Penny feel better,
Yes.
I'm gonna put a screw there. And a screw all about there. And then I'm going to tie a string to keep it from overextending. Okay. The receiver for the lock hasp is going to be on this wall here, which is out a little bit from our 2x2, and so the two aren't going to line up, the lid and the other. So I've added this little chunk of plywood. Should line up pretty well.
So we use longer screws here too, instead of these little bitty things. We wanted it more secure.
Because we're pretty sure the raccoons have
Stop it!
tools.
Stop it! We're using the little screws on this one because this isn't going to be pulled on or anything. The raccoons won't get their tool to this. But also, it would go through the plywood. We put a carabiner through the hole so that it can't be bothered with, but we don't have to mess with the lock. It's done.
And not a moment too soon.
Okay, we brought it outside. We've added straw to their beds, and Mark's gonna go get them. There's Daddy-O, or this is actually Granddaddy. He sees his little house. I wanted him to know that he can go in and out. Oh good, I was afraid he was too fat for that door, but it worked great. He's like, what? What is this? Where am I? I'm outside. We always called him Daddy and our girl Mama, but now we have a boy, so I guess he's Daddy and this is Granddaddy. Mark brought our younger one out, and he was in the bed and liked it, but he's exploring, which is great. The way I measured how wide we needed there, I'm going to call them a nest box for lack of what else to call them, is they were laying out on their cage floors, and I measured how long they were, and they were well, I did Daddy. I knew if Daddy fit, the other one would fit. So Daddy was 15 inches, so we added to it and we made them 16 inches, and it works out great. I think they're both very excited. We got them all done. I think they are really going to enjoy living outside instead of in a cage under the carport. We just want to thank you for coming along on this. And if you end up making a rabbit tractor like this, let us know if you did any tweaks or changes or whatever and how it's working for you.
Or if you make a better one, that's really what we'd love to see.
Yeah, that's the truth. We are not finished carpenters.
I don't think anybody doubted that.
Yeah, I know, right? But hey, the rabbits are happy. We get things done for a low price and it works well. So thanks again for coming along. And until next time, blessings on you and yours.
Did it.